My dear Mohanji, hello. It's a pleasure for me to have you here with us on IS Touch Show. It's been 2 years since we haven't seen each other, so I'm excited and happy to see you again with me in this conversation.
Thank you, Naira. Thank you for getting back and reuniting.
Yes, yes. Okay,
Thank you.
well, there are lots of questions, and so let's start with this great period of time in history. So many prophecies in this time of history speak this period as a great transformation. And I was reading the article recently about human evolution. It stated that the magical shift somehow started along with the COVID-19 and all pandemia related issues. All our old models are being reinvented in every phase of society. Through this great transformation, they stated a new human is emerging on the earth. Homo sapiens is in Latin wise man, becomes Homo luminous, the new human, so called man of light. So I was wondering your thoughts about that. Our history is really witnessing this new human.
Yes, Naira, I agree. In fact, we are luminous beings because of our association and identification with a particular personality. We don't think so, or we don't feel so. We are vibrant, luminous beings. If we cut across the physical and the emotional layers of us, what remains is this bright being. So this bright being is what people have been exploring since long. And when people found it, they kept quiet. They didn't want to talk about it, or there is no need to express it. Not deliberately not wanting to talk about it, but you have found what you're looking for. So they kept quiet. So most of the people who attained that brightness did not speak. Those who spoke are people who thought about it, or they thought they attained, or they perceived it. So there is a difference here. But as you rightly said, the current times gives us major two options. One is that the binding of habits, patterns, and those kind of things. And the other, because of forced isolation, the opportunity to find something more realistic.
True.
So if you're too bound by patterns and habits, if you miss a lot of those stuff, it's very likely that you would suffer because those things are not available. Production is affected, distribution is affected. So supply and demand are affected. So this is a sad state for people who crave for material things or external life.
Yes.
But those who have taken the opportunity to ask the question, what actually am I? They have been hugely benefited because this time has given them the space and also the environment to dig and dig and dig deeper. And
Exactly.
it's simply going within, just going within, and to go into the fundamentals. Simple question: what is the driving force? What is this energy called? We are so occupied with person and personality, but beyond that person and personality, there is an energy which is moving it, which is illumining it. And that energy can be found in this environment. One aspect. Second aspect, nature helps. When nature is quiet, it's more convenient for us to go within. When nature is noisy, we tend to go after noises. So the false light of the world, the false light means artificial light, light which is created of the world versus the natural light inside. This is the point. To find the natural light inside, you need to have time with yourself. There's no other way.
Yes.
Nobody else can tell you or show you the light inside you. You have to find it.
Exactly. And to sit in the dark places of our own soul sometimes.
Well, it's probably the bright spaces. In fact, when we think about dark, we think dark is because we connect or associate with the light of the world outside.
Mm-hmm.
The brightness of the world outside is a dim light compared to the light inside.
Mm-hmm.
So it's actually bright space. But because, like, for example, there is a saying that the common crows, the crow, we see a crow as black. That is because our eyes cannot see it. It's actually bright silver. That's why a crow can attack an eagle, much larger bird.
Yeah.
When a crow comes near an eagle, it becomes blinded because of its silver color. Mm-hmm. and the reflection of light into its eyes. So it can't attack back, it can't see. But we think of the crow as black because our eyes see only we can't see the brightness. Mm-hmm. So similarly, we cannot see the brightness inside because we are so connected to the artificial brightness outside. Mm-hmm. Artificial brightness is much weaker and more gross than the subtle inner light. That means you have to go deeper and deeper into your silence to find the inner light. And that light is very soft and subtle, but very powerful, brighter than a million suns. Mm-hmm. So you have to go through the tunnel of our mind, the deluding aspect. Delusion means our thinking that the external world is the only reality.
Yes. So we need to go inwards always. Yes, like you always say.
Inward, yes.
Well, I said every crisis brings, I think, somehow marvelous opportunity, as you already said, to go inwards and actually not only to heal the world, but first of all, to heal ourselves. And of course, then the world and the Mother Earth. And how can we stand united? I think the unity is such an important and precious word in this context, in special times. How can we heal the world united in this powerful mission? Unity and not segregation, unity and not this blindness and mindness of ego. Because we see lots of segregation going on now in the world. And somehow it seems to me that all the darkness almost appeared once again to stand in front of us so we can see it and somehow accept it and then go with the light. So how can we stand in unity? That's my question.
I feel that what keeps us apart is the darkness. And the darkness has faces of greed, profits, manipulation, and so many things like that. And people have become islands because the expressions, their natural expressions, are curtailed, minimized because of the environment, the current situation. But how can we be together? Fundamentally, we are together. You and I are one. When we look into the consciousness, the same brightness sits in you and same brightness sits in me.
Yes.
Like the electricity. Same electricity sits in a television and same electricity sits in a washing machine and the light bulb. But each gives a different flavor, different effect, and different reasons also. So we think that it's different. Washing machine is definitely different from a television, but same electricity operates both. Likewise, what's in me and what's in you are same. What's in the bird, animal, everything is same.
Same energy,
but because,
same light,
same energy. Mm-hmm. Yes, same energy. Mm-hmm. And because it's operating in different mechanisms, different machines, it looks different. That's all. So technically speaking, we are connected. All of us are connected. Mm-hmm. Now we need to generate that kind of unification and unity by sharing, caring, and being respectful. Mm-hmm. So we should cut across all the man-made barriers. See, today, even from one country to the next, to travel is impossible or very difficult. So we have learned how to make our barriers or boundaries more and more solid. But we must learn now to make our boundaries weaker and weaker and completely annihilated. Mm-hmm. We must create a global citizenship based on unity and love. One of the major things the religions have played in the last 150 years, if we take, is more divisions, not unification.
Yes.
So I'm not against religion as an individual, but I would like to say that all religions and religious leaders should talk about humanity more than religion. Whatever divides people should be discarded. Whatever unites people should be accepted. Otherwise, the human species do not have a future.
So you said that maybe boundaries should completely, in a way, destroy.
Dissolve.
Yes. So do you think it's maybe a rise on the new world? As we talked about the new human, maybe we can see in the future some new world without even the strict boundaries, like you said.
Yes, indeed, it's a new world. Actually, right now, it's a new world. This world we have not experienced ever since mankind began. So we are now citizens of a new world already.
Mm-hmm.
But unfortunately, this world is a world of restrictions.
Mm-hmm.
That at this point in time. So we can't really call this as an ideal world. The ideal world is where we don't fear each other.
Yes.
We do not need these securities and these frisking and scanning and people afraid of people. We should not have fear. The fear factor should go completely. That should be replaced by trust factor.
Exactly.
And competition, comparisons, manipulations, those things should be eradicated. And in that place, there should be righteousness and goodness. This is possible just by tweaking the human laws, the laws which human beings made. The nature has its laws. That law is perfect because it has its synchronicity, it has its time tested and proved. But human laws needs change. Human laws are country, species, religion, location oriented. They are very, very micro dissected and so many details. So we must change that to a system where only thing that matters is righteousness,
Compassion.
being right, compassion, kindness, selflessness, non-violence, and this should be compensated through less taxes, more rewards, recognitions, etc., so that people have an orientation to be right, orientation to be good. Otherwise, the whole system doesn't work. People need orientation and motivation.
I'm sorry, are you optimist? This new world, as we speak about it, seems almost an alien world now, because this is a real state which is not so perfect, like you said. Do you think that we will actually be able to see it while we live in this earth?
I'm optimistic. I'm optimistic. I'm certainly optimistic. And I would like to say that we must be optimistic. And I think what collective consciousness has created, the current pandemic situation, which is created by collective consciousness, only collective consciousness can change it. You or I individually cannot change it. Mm-hmm. But we can maintain our goodness factor, our righteousness factor, our love, compassion, and kindness, so that we leave a message with our life. Mm-hmm. We can talk about it. And when people talk about divisions, we must talk about unification. And division is a thing of the past. See, we must always remind and remember that when you go to graveyards, you see great people are lying there with hands free. So this is actually the destiny of humankind. We do not keep anything, we do not store anything, we have to leave everything behind. So this awareness and understanding should be given right from children, from small children. Children are born unique. Their factory setting is perfect. They are fully synchronized, fully aligned, fully everything. So they have the right to be living on this earth with that kind of alignment. Mm-hmm. So this is very important.
Yes, indeed.
And that environment we must create. Then we have a different world. Otherwise, we are conditioning children right from the beginning. We are more oriented on creating children for purpose, like a doctor, engineer, scientist, not children as unique beings. So this is the fundamental shift in attitude that we can create within our generation, the generation that's running the world now.
Exactly. And on your latest retreat now in Serbia, you said something interesting. It stayed with me. It says, doesn't matter how the world treats you if you have the 3S. It's self-acceptance, self-respect, and self-love. And now we talked about this virtue. And I think grown-ups are in such a desperate need today, more than ever, to hear these words and to actually try to install these habits inside of them. So how to actually do that? I mean, where to start from? Because I don't think that it's nothing more important than this 3S, like you said correctly.
Yes, it has to begin with us. Everything begins with us. Our whole world begins with us. When we wake up, we have a world. When we sleep, our world is closed. So we are the most important beginning that we can ever find. So self-acceptance, self-respect, self-love, that's where it begins. That respect has to be given a great importance. When we start respecting ourselves, we learn to respect others. So all transformations have to start from us, within us. Then it transcends to the world outside. What we manufacture inside us, that's exactly what we express to the world outside. When we manufacture anger, hatred, frustration, revenge inside us, the world is also the same. War, displacements, destruction, that's what comes out of all this. So we must create a world inside, inner world, which is filled with compassion, acceptance, tolerance, all those kind of things. And that's because we do not want to reduce our frequency. The world, external world, means a medley of various frequencies. Each individual is a different frequency. That's the variety of the world. So all these frequencies have value, and each frequency has its relevance, responsibility, and also duration, the longevity. Everything is coming and going. So we are adding our frequency to this world. Each new baby is adding its own frequency to this world. And if you take the next 100 years, even the child born today will not be living here. It'll be a new set of people. So we are like tourists coming and going. It's like a chain or this.
You said, remember in our interview 2 years ago.
Yes.
We're here temporarily.
We are temporary, absolutely. So what is most important is that we should never reduce our frequency. That's the biggest gift you can give to yourself. Let the world operate in its own frequency. We cannot do much about it. When one person becomes angry, or a person takes revenge on you, that's that person's frequency. We should not go down to that frequency and retaliate.
How to maintain the peace, how not to go into the trap and to lower our frequency. That's the somehow biggest challenge.
One word is self-respect. We should not go down to any frequency. We should remain in a frequency which is stable, which is fully secure and stable frequency. That means we are completely happy with ourselves. We are happy with the way we are, and we should be contented that way. Now, what you get from the world, we don't have control.
Yes.
Every day, it's a different story. So let it happen, let it come. But we are not affected by it. We are being stable, and we live our life with dignity and pride. That does not mean ego. Not that I'm superior or I'm inferior or anything. It's not a complex or a superiority feeling. It's being natural, being you, being totally you. When I say totally you, it's not your emotions. It's not your character. It's not your likes or dislikes. It's you as a unique creation. There could be similar people like you, but there is only you as you. Similarities will be there. So if that is taught to children, children will be very stable. When children are stable, the next generation will be stable. This is the education that we must need today. The kindness factor, the goodness factor. We can solve every situation with love. We can change the whole world through love.
I'm sure that the schools would be an amazing, how to say, place where we can actually impose these questions.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
teachers, unfortunately, are not actually at all posing this on children. So love is the
Absolutely.
answer to all, not anger, not hatred, not jealousy, but love. So
Yes.
maybe let's hope that the new world actually will have schools like this.
Yes, definitely, because this is the natural thing to happen to children. When the best thing you can give to your own children is their own stability. It's not education. Education is for the sake of earning money, or some skills are for the sake of earning a living. But you got to learn life. How to be stable in life is more important than earning a living. Earning a living will definitely happen if you are stable in your life. When you are unaffected by the world outside, you will have a great life, for sure.
Exactly.
So, yeah, so that's exactly the point today, that all these pandemic situations, it has its root in greed factor. When we manipulate a cell or manipulate a particular thing, and if it goes out of your hand, it wreaks disaster. We don't need atomic bombs. We need a stable place where all people can live peacefully. Atomic bombs have not created any peace. It has only made world into pieces. So we got to get back. We got to collect ourselves and be different from now. This pandemic situation, if it provokes a great difference in the outlook of people, it's worth it.
Exactly. I just
Yeah.
want to say that COVID-19 really completely transformed everything, as we said already in the beginning of this conversation. But something that is always a hot topic is the COVID-19 vaccines. And it's definitely present everywhere in social media and media coverage, of course. So actually, as large-scale COVID-19 vaccination programs begins, attention turned then to challenges and safety and effectiveness of the vaccine, and what are the side effects, and do they alter human cells? What about the human natural immunization, etc., etc. So I was wondering your thoughts about it, because I really admire every advice of the deep spiritual beings that are actually somehow a sense of reason, somehow even with the soul portrayed in it. So I was wondering your thoughts.
Well, the side effects of it or the effects of it is yet to be known. We don't know. It's too early. And what thing which the time tested things of the world uh, needs time to be tested. That means if you want to test something for a period of time and see how it works, how it functions. But today, I think we didn't have time to test all these. This all tested, all these things are tested. Of course, WHO and all these people have approved it. So I should believe that they are responsible people and they know what they're talking about, and they should care for the people of the world. This is what the notion is. But what you go to test with time, you need time. Number one. Number two, effectiveness and the side effect of this, nobody knows because it's not time tested. We cannot say. Third, our human immunity system is pretty strong. We got our factory settings when we came here. Until and unless we manipulate it, we still have it.
Yes.
Like if you see the whole Ayurveda and the sciences from the nature is connected, is derived from the nature through observation, through assimilation, and not by destroying or testing on animals and things, people like that. So anyway, at this point in time, because of this pandemic situation, I appreciate we did not have a lot of time to do all sorts of tests.
Yes. So
But
you are in favor of it or not in favor of it? How would you?
well, I reserve my comments, to be honest, because I do not know much about it. But I'm not in favor of any intervention into my body because it's sometimes very difficult to handle it, interventions. So technically speaking, I'm not pro any intervention into my body. I always believe that we can survive things. But this pandemic situation, since I'm not in medical profession, I do not know the full implication. One thing I have seen from the television is thousands of people have recovered, but the people dead are highlighted. See, the people who recovered are not highlighted. So many people recovered, so many thousands of people, but the people who died are highlighted. So I believe that negative news and the scare and the fear is not a good idea, because that itself kills people. People die out of fear more than the disease. And vaccines and all these things are huge business affair. That's
We
huge
talked about
money,
the greed.
huge.
Yes.
Uh,
We talked about the greed and the profit before.
yeah, profits. Yeah, when you are profit oriented, other things are eclipsed. We do not really look at ethics. Profit eclipses ethics.
Yes. Yes.
So this is also a reality. But since I do not know the actual truth, I thought it's not a good idea to just imagine or give an opinion from my partial understanding. I just hope sincerely that World Health Organization and all the bodies that are administering or guiding people to good health, should remain responsible. They should look after people well. That should be the main key responsibility, is that this generation and the coming generations should remain healthy. And that's the responsibility of authorities.
So the time will show, actually, in 20, 30, 40 years.
Only time can tell. Only history will have the last laugh. Finally.
I hope it will be a peaceful laugh and not a worried,
Absolutely.
tragedy laugh.
Yeah, not in a